Hello, my friends. Mr. Mike here, and today we're doing a 1, 2, 3 Sesame Street story called Elmo's Learning Adventure. And we're going to do the animal alphabet. How exciting. Hello, Bert, Elmo, Grover, Bert, and Ernie. All right, let's begin. Elmo loves having learning adventures with his friend. Hey, Elmo. All right. Animal alphabet. Elmo is ready to learn the animal alphabet from ape to zebra. Will you help Elmo and his friends name as many animals as you can, starting with the letter A all the way to Z? Yeah, A, Z. Big A, little a. Can you guess what animal begins with A? That's right. Ape begins with A. There's also the aardvark, sometimes known as the anteater. It has a sticky tongue and uses to eat ants. That's a lot of things beginning with A. Hello, ape. B. Bear begins with B. That's a capital B, by the way, and that's a little b. A bear's favorite meal is honey, and bees make honey. That's two things beginning with B. And there's the bear, and there's the bees, and it's pretty cool. The bees actually made a letter B. I like that. Big C, little c. Cookie Monster begins with C. Cookie Monster is almost as tall as a camel. Cat, canary, and camel also begin with the letter C. And so does Cookie, right? Yeah, like the cat trying to get the bird on top of the camel while talking to Cookie Monster. Big D, little d. Barkley is a dog. Dog begins with D. Duck also begins with D. What do you do when a duck makes a splash? You duck. There's the duck. It's in his dog bowl, which also begins with D. How silly. Big E, little e. We've got a big F and a little f. Ernie begins with E, but he's not an animal. Elephant begins with E. Ernie thinks his friend Snuffy's nose is as long as his elephant's trunk. Fox begins with F. Flamingo, frog, and ferret also start with F. Yeah, elephants are definitely big, aren't they? There's the fox. I wonder what the fox says. Sorry, couldn't resist the joke. And we got Ernie, G, and little g. Elmo knows some animals beginning with the G. They are tall giraffes and tiny grasshoppers. And don't forget Dorothy, Elmo's pet goldfish. And there's the giraffe. He's definitely tall, isn't he? And that must be Dorothy, pet goldfish. I did not know that. Got grasshoppers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the grasshoppers are also the color green, which also begins with G. All right. Big H, little h. That's a big animal with Zoe. It is a very big name, too, beginning with the letter H. It's a hippopotamus. The hippopotamuses are really big animals, aren't they? And there's Zoe. I didn't know hippos were purple. Big I, little I. Big J, little j. Grover knows about iguanas. They start with I. An iguana is a type of lizard. It has long spikes running down its back to its tail. The jaguar is a big spotted cat. Jaguar begins with J. Which of these is the iguana and which is the jaguar? Do you think that green animal is a jaguar or a iguana? It's an iguana, isn't it? And here we have this fine looking cat. Jaguars are big cats. So there we go. Hello, Grover. Big K, little k. For animals beginning with K, Elmo hops over to Australia where he finds a kicky kangaroo and a kindly koala. And it's got a joey, which starts with the letter J, but that's what you call a baby kangaroo. And there's the koala, which is purple, waving at us. Hello, koala. Big L, little L. Llama, ladybug, and lizard all begin with L. Which do you like a lot? That's pretty cool. The word llama begins with a big L and a little L. Which do you prefer? Get a llama, a ladybug, and a lizard. I like ladybugs and I like lizards. I can't really say I really like llamas too much. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool if you do. Big M, little m. Monkey begins with an M. Look at Elmo playing with his monkey friends. Imagine you are a monkey swinging from tree branches. What food makes a monkey go, hmm? That is a lot of monkeys. Got one monkey, two monkey, three monkey, four monkey, and five monkey. So which food do you think bananas like? Bananas. I just gave it away, didn't I? Yeah, monkeys are known to eat bananas. And Elmo seems pretty excited to hang out with his friends. Hooray. Big N, little n. Big O, little o. Big Bird has a lot of feathered friends. Nightingale begins with N. Did you know that nightingales sing during the day and at night? Owl begins with O, and so does ostrich. Both are those birds too. Yeah, there's an owl, and that's a nightingale. I didn't know nightingales sang during the day and night. That's pretty awesome. And of course, you got Big Bird. Big P, little P. Bert is playing with his pet pigeon, Bernice. Pigeon begins with P. Pig begins with P too. I did not know his pet was named Bernice. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pigeons. One pig. Yeah, I like Bert's green pants. Big Q, little q. Big R, little r. Quail begins with Q. How lucky. Because there are not many other animals that start with Q. There are a lot of things beginning with R, though. Grover is holding a rosy-nosed rabbit, a rat, a reindeer, and a rooster. And they all start with R. So we got the rabbit, we got the quail, and we got a Grover. Big S, little s. Zoe loves dancing with her animal friends, starting with S. Swans sail elegantly across the water, and bushy-tailed squirrels leap strongly from branch to branch. You need to be super strong to move like that. Hello, swan. Doing a swan dance. Wow. Then we got a squirrel. We got a Zoe. Big T, little t. Toucan begins with T. Toucans have large beaks and live in Central America and South America. What birds live in trees near you? Well, robins, blue jays, cardinals, got some owls, we got hawks. We even have bald eagles living around here, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, we got a lot of birds where I live at. Big U, big V, little v. Elmo doesn't think that there are any animals that begin with U, but Unicorn does. The unicorn is a make-believe animal that looks like a horse with a horn on its head. There are not a lot of animals that start with V, but a vulture is one. Even though it looks like silly, a vulture is a real bird. There's the unicorn. And there's the vulture. Big W, little w. Worm begins with W. Oscar loves worms, especially his pet worm, Slimy. What else begins with W? Wallaby, walrus, and wolf. Can you name any others? Let's see. They said wallaby, walrus, and wolf. What else begins with W? You got any ideas? I really can't think off the top of my head any animals that start with W. Yeah, there's Oscar. I didn't know his pet worm was named Slimy, but that makes sense, right? Big X, little x. Oscar knows two animals beginning with the letter X. The xenopus is a type of frog, and there's a bird called a xenops. Extraordinary. Elmo never knew that before. Honestly, Elmo, I didn't either. I guess that's a Xenops, and that's a Xenobus. Yeah, he's scratching his head too. Big Y, big Z, little z. You're almost through the alphabet. Can you name any animals beginning with Y and Z? Elmo knows that yak begins with Y and zebra begins with Z. A zebra looks like a horse with black and white stripes. Thanks for sharing this animal adventure with Elmo and his friends. You made learning the alphabet fun. Well, we got the yak. I guess that's a yak, and that's a zebra. Thank you for watching this video. And if you please like, subscribe, and check out my other Sesame Street material on here. Have a great day, and bye-bye.